Today on the show, I'm happy to have Scott Marshall, the CEO of Semester at Sea, where the world is your campus. So, Scott, let's just jump into this. What's the revenue of the business right now?
Last fiscal year, actually just ending this end of this month, $31 million.
And how many staff members does it take to run this operation?
45 committed, purpose-driven people.
And when was the company founded?
The program was founded in 1963. 12 years later, in 1975, the nonprofit organization was set up.
And talking about some of the cost of running a nonprofit, you were throwing some percentages at me earlier.
Yeah, we have a pretty unique business model. It works well in the nonprofit sector. It's a very tough model if you think in the private sector. We run a ship as a home campus for college students. That ship in operation is about 73% of our costs. That is a fixed cost, regardless of how many voyagers we take. Our staff is another 21% of our costs. Net, that's 94% of our cost is fixed, which makes for a very high cost, fixed cost ratio. And that works well when you're mission driven. It would be a tough model, particularly given that it's non-scalable. That is, that most businesses, of course, are all trying to scale and scale quickly, reduce their marginal cost. We have one ship with a certain number of beds. You can't just bring along another ship. And so it's a fixed cost, high fixed cost operation with a non-scalable revenue model. The only way we can increase revenue is a gradual increase in price over time.
So, if you wanted to get a second ship, is it even possible?
We need a lot of money, and then we need to hire 45 more staff, right? So it's not scalable in the sense that you can achieve more economies of scale by a second ship. You just have to hire another to recruit the students and faculty and staff. You just have to duplicate the existing model.
So, what are some of the challenges actually of running a nonprofit based on these?
Yeah, I would say that the challenge is also the opportunity as it is in most business, right? The challenge is it's a very complex business model. We bring together study abroad, that is all the in-country activities that we are higher ed because all the students on the voyage earn college credit, and we're in partnership with Colorado State University to deliver those courses and those credits. And we're partially a cruise company. That is that we have to operate a ship and we have to work with companies that hire the captain and officers and crew. We have to make sure that ship is in great working order to ensure the safety of everybody on it. So that's the complexity of that model. But the opportunity is to make sure that we are true to our mission every day we wake up and go to work. That means that we have a clear purpose every day, even though the margins might be narrow and the challenges be significant in terms of the complexity. We don't have to ever worry about what's our purpose. What are we trying to do today? We are trying to run a program that we believe has deep meaning in the world today. So that's the opportunity side of that complexity.
So, with a limited number of seats on the ship, how does a student even have the opportunity to join up?
Yeah, we work with university partners all over the country and in some cases internationally to ensure that students at these various institutions can get on board. We run two voyages a year, one in fall semester, one in spring semester. And it's a self-selection bias. That is, a student who wants to go and study abroad, who wants to go to multiple countries, is okay being away during football season, right? All these self-selection biases. We have limited numbers of cabins, particularly in spring and fall. We generally have enough seats to fit everybody who's interested. If you don't mind me just sharing, the pandemic was extraordinarily hard on our organization. It was hard on many organizations. If you talk about higher ed, study abroad, and cruise industry, those are three industries that were hit extraordinarily hard during the pandemic, and we are all three. We basically had no revenue for almost 2 years, and we're slowly recovering from that period. Fortunately, we're back again. Jared, we have $31 million revenue this FY. The next fiscal year, we should be looking at up to around 32 million. So it's a slow growth recovery from that very difficult period of time. When I looked at your podcast, listened to it, there were some amazing stories. If it's worth sharing with your listeners, I would just say that as someone who has been ambitious career-wise, one of my definitely failings was when I was seeking a next leadership position at a former employer, and I didn't do the gut check. I was seeking that position because it seemed like the next natural step externally. But when I did their gut check after the fact and not getting the position, it was that I didn't authentically want the job, that it wasn't really the position I wanted. And that set me up for failure. On the other hand, what a powerful learning to come away and say, there were a lot of reasons that I didn't get that position, but fundamentally, it was because inside I knew that it wasn't the right position. And I failed to really gut check in the process. I hope that there's listeners out there who really check their own ambition against their gut. What is it that really would be right for them when opportunities arise, rather than just trying to move up and out?
And it seems like you landed in the right place.
Absolutely, this is the right position for me. But I would say that being willing to take risks when your gut's telling you you should is the opposite side of that, right? I was a full professor. I had tenure, been at an institution for quite a long time. And I left that behind, which is fairly uncommon for people to do, to a small nonprofit that has a clear bottom line, very compelling mission. But I gave up all these securities to do this. And it's definitely been the right fit for me. I love what I do. I love the team that I work with. And I think we really do have a positive impact in the world as a consequence of the voyages we conduct.
And if somebody in our audience wanted to reach out to learn more, how could they do?
It's really straightforward. semesteratc.org. semesteratc.org. Straight out, all the information needs on our website. Our net promoter score from our voyages is always in the 80, 90%. People come away talking about how this was the most important and impactful semester of their college career. I talk to alums that sailed in the 60s and 70s and 80s, and they still have best friends from that experience. They still talk about it as one of the most influential periods of time in their life. So, yeah, go to semesterc.org. Check us out.
Well, thank you, Scott, for coming on the show. Thank you, everybody, for listening to another episode of Failing at Success. If you like the show, make sure to subscribe. I'm your host, Chad Galecki, and we'll see you next time.